Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Blood and Plunder for you here as we keep working our way through the French commanders. Today we're going to take a look at Julien Lambert, 25 pointer, massive 16-inch command range, but let's take a look real quick. He can lead French Caribbean militia or any French buccaneer force. So yeah, 16-inch command range, that's going to give us a huge chunk of the battlefield that we can exercise our command range over, and lets our forces spread out a little bit. To be a little bit more flexible. It comes with 2 command points, so good stuff there. Third would have been nice, of course, but we're kind of not going to expect that outside of some very special high-end characters. So all in all, though, really good, especially for the 25 points. Brace of pistols, so we're going to basically keep blasting with those, not worry about reloading. Standard melee weapon, good stuff there. Then we get 3 abilities for this guy. Very inspiring and lead by example, which we've seen in 2 of our favorite abilities in general for commanders. But then we get unorthodox force, which we haven't seen much of. Might even be the first time in our series here. So we're going to take a look and see how these factor in and what that gets us for that 25-point investment. So we've talked about very inspiring several times, but basically all friendly units within his command range can reroll any failed rally tests, which is fantastic. So we have that huge command range in general, right? 16 inches out, so we're going to cover a lot of the battlefield there. And then when we are spending those command points for rally, then we were getting rerolls on the rally tests as well. But even if the unit itself is just activating to rally, we're going to get the rerolls off of that, right? So as long as they're in command range of the commander, they can reroll the rally tests. So good stuff there. And again, also another way to make more or get more success out of a command point spent to tell an order or tell a unit to rally. Lead by example is another one of our favorites here as well. Now it does involve getting into the action, so to speak, with our commander's unit. So we want to be careful to preserve the commander and the commander's unit as long as possible so that we can get this to go off as many times. So ideally, staying out of combat where casualties are bound to pick up, unless we're for sure, going in and really have like the advantage going into a combat, like our units, let's say full strength, and the enemy's only got like a couple models or something left. Maybe they're not in a position to like shoot back as we're charging, but really, ideally, we want to be plinking off some enemy units and organizing the timing of the turn, ideally, so that the time that we're activating, we're much more likely to essentially kill or rout an enemy unit, either through casualties and or fatigue. But what this does, so if the commander's unit causes an opposing unit to be removed from the game, casualties, or routing, all units in the force can remove a point of fatigue. So between this and very inspiring, this is just an awesome combo. We've seen it a few times across other characters we've already seen and reviewed. So these two itself really should go hand in hand in keeping the force free of fatigue. And ideally, if we can pile on the fatigue with the way that the game works, right? We want to pile on the fatigue. We don't necessarily always have to cause casualties, of course, that's nice, but causing casualties will lead to more fatigue on the enemy as well. But if we're getting to act at sort of our full range of actions allowed when we activate, and we're constantly causing the opponent to have to make tougher choices because we've inflicted damage and they're getting fewer actions per turn, which maybe will dictate how they'll play and how they can even respond, you can really cripple an opponent with the way that the game works, and keeping that up and running as long as possible. So again, works well hand in hand, those two abilities. Now, unorthodox force is a neat one, and again, going back to our review on all the different factions and sub-factions and so on and so forth, anytime we can make certain switches, things like that, without having to pay points, is a great one. And in this one, a force led by this commander may take flibustiers as core units. So regardless of which of the 2 forces that he's allowed to run, what we're taking, without dipping into those right now, basically, instead of if the flibustiers aren't already core, we can bring them over as core and getting more access to those. And those are one of the best units that the French have in general. So and they do very good work at shooting. So and again, that's ideally a unit that we want to maybe plop that commander in and run as large of a unit as we're allowed to for the points that we're playing. So not not necessarily as going to have as big of an effect necessarily as, again, the first two abilities, but it's just nice when we can modify our force selection without having to pay points or make any other sacrifices like we've seen with some of the other lists. So all in all, really good stuff here. Definitely a character looking forward to running at some point, hopefully in a battle report for you guys. But let us know if you've run Julien Lambert. Where do you tend to run him more, the militia or the buccaneer force? Where do you see him fitting better? Where have you had your successes? What have you won against with him, and what have you maybe found to be just an uphill battle, or maybe even some losses? Let us know how you like him. Definitely, I think one of the best characters that the French have, maybe even one of the best ones in the game. Where would you rank him? So let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.